Hello, hello. Good afternoon. It's 1 o'clock, an unusual time for You Change the World on those multiple channels, social media channels, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and X, Twitter, and also podcast on Spotify, Amazon, Apple, and some other channels. Well, always glad to see you, asking you to subscribe on any of those channels, but especially YouTube and inviting you, of course, to comment on these different thoughts because your input is very important. And each week, You Change the World is half hour usually. It's going to be a little bit shorter now, and a daily point of view that's going to be shared for 2 minutes or 3 minutes every day in a very short future. We just tried to put this together now and produce it, and I promise you that it's going to be very uh, fascinating. So I am really fascinated also by my clients' input every day. I'm learning with these coaching sessions every single day with individuals, with teams, and groups of people every single day. Look, it's not an easy world. It's not getting simpler out there. So the coaching is incredibly useful. And I'm not trying to sell you a service here or trying to sell you coaching. It's just that coaching is also teaching me and coaches me when I coach others. It's hours of coaching, and it's been done here since 2007. I have been doing this, and I don't even realize how time flies and how many people I have seen so far. But look, it's not the quantity, it's the quality. And I think that I've been very spoiled that most of the clients that I've coached are incredibly involved in their leadership, in what they do. They're passionate people. They want to work on themselves. They want to grow. And that's an unbelievable thing. Aren't we here in this world to grow? So the growth is a mindset, it's a presence, it's a commitment, and it's inspiring all the people that they lead, like it's inspiring me individually. So really, I hope that what I can share with you, the stories, their stories, can be inspiring too. Today, I picked a topic that, because again, I really bring topics here that seem to be the topics that are in the mind of the clients that I coach. That's probably a reflection of something that happens out there in the corporate world, because there are mainly corporations and corporate people. There is some entrepreneurs, there is some business owners, there is some um, civil servants, and there is some individual professionals that I coach, and sometimes also people who are unemployed. But it's unbelievable how people carry so much wealth of knowledge and wealth of talents that it's infinite, infinite. So every single day is another day. One thing supernatural happens to me for sure, and I can share that because it's true. Every single day carries one theme, usually, and they did not talk to each other, right? So this one today is a theme that comes back pretty regularly. And it's really about leadership, but along with fear and showing up fully, showing up yourself on stage under the spotlight, because that's what work is. I'm not saying you should be acting another part than yourself. You should be totally authentic. But the fear that I can feel over there, the fear for people that they're going to lose their jobs, the fear that they are sometimes feeling this imposter syndrome, right? That they are not up to the level they are expected to have. Or another thing, it can be a situation change, and changes are happening a lot, where they are now into a new role, inheriting a team of people and feeling that they're not up to par. This is something that happens all the time. But the core that I could really find, the core fear, the core um, obstacle for people to continue and push themselves all the way is that they are afraid to lose their job, or they are afraid to take the initiative themselves and not ask permission for it. So we are always into this theme of freedom and autonomy. But let me tell you, because it's definitely something I can detect clearly being a common denominator among every level of leaders that I'm coaching. They have a fear to lose their job for sure. Everybody has this thing in the middle of their mind, and they're scared about their destiny. So that level of uncertainty for them and from the people that they work for, or that people work for them, it's a general situation. And I can just testify that it is a situation. Why all this energy is invested in doubting about yourself or doubting about wherever you are, your structure, your employer, or I would go with one level up, which is the market. The market that is in fact expecting you, that there is always a seat waiting for you, a responsibility, a task, that you are useful to the society, that you are expected by someone there to do a phenomenal job and to have an incredible profession and position in an organization where you can blossom, where you can be happy. The more you constrain and you restrain yourself, excuse me, within things that are not required of you, the more you overthinking, the more you make an issue that is really, in fact, not one, is definitely an invitation to simplify. It's definitely an invitation for you to take things, easy and make sure that you feel comfortable. The priority of everything is to feel comfortable. Whatever it takes for you, if it is exercise, if it is meditation, yoga, if it is Zen, or any other things that you need to have a buffer before you get into something, you need to take that buffer. You have to demand that buffer. I remember the day from my last job, I was reporting to a tall lady who was my boss, and she was a very difficult person, very difficult leader. She was tough. She was bullying all my colleagues and myself. I was the only man among 12 females, um, having all of us a title of director and reporting to that vice president. And it was in a very kind of pressuring environment. But what I remember is about that fear and about how she, in fact, maintained that fear and that level of uncertainty. And it was not necessary. It was not helping us to be productive at all. So we had to do more on ourselves and take more ownership on our roles than try to depend on her and that influence that we were getting. Anyway, this in a nutshell, it was pretty difficult. What is very important is that we voice our opinion, that we are loud if we have to be, because we need to claim our autonomy and our independence. If you are giving me a responsibility or leadership, I take that leadership. So trust me, and I own my own. I own my destiny, but I own also the tasks that I've been asked to do, without any fear that I'm going to fail, and I'm going to be confident, and I'm going to be positive, etc., etc., etc. But what I share here with you definitely is you have to feel safe, much safer than you do, because you need to trust yourself. And then you have to be visible, and your visibility is your brand. How do you want people to see you? What is the perception you want people to have of you? And what is it that you want to create as a first impression? Very often, that first impression is everything, because many people are going to have a hard time changing the view that they had the first time they met you or had an experience with you. So that first impression can be totally intentional. You can totally decide what you want people to see. And that by gaining confidence about what your brand is, who you are, what you want to showcase in different situations, that can be highlighting one aspect of you, another aspect of you. But what's important is to think about it and to be very prepared to bring this out there when you are visible. And I always bring this because it's called executive presence. Your presence is everything. If you are intentional about that presence, I promise you that fear is going to go down almost to zero, because you are in fact in control of what the space is going to gain from you when you're there. You don't have to speak necessarily, just by being there, but being intentional about it, by being powerful in your influence, in the impact that you have, because you bring yourself and that brand out there. It's needed. It's you, nobody else. And the people that work with you, for you, above you, all the different stakeholders, suppliers, contractors, everybody you relate to, you're interacting with, have a very reliable sense of who you are because you thought about what to showcase the most, because you know who you are. If you don't, perform those personality assessments. Do it. Find out what is strong about you. All these tests, all these assessments have been done by companies, for those that are famous, the MBTI, the Emergenetics, the DISC, of all those different brands of assessments, of personality assessments, and all of that provide you with tools that are very important when you, in fact, lead a team as well. You can have all the people doing and performing those assessments and have a very clear picture of how they can complement each other because they have one aspect of their personality strongly or stronger than another person, and they bring to each other their strength and to you and complement you, the leader. All of those things, all those tools or resources are meant to give you more clarity about attributing roles to people that are clear, and they work with clear roles, and they know what they're doing. They connect to their purpose, and things can become much more clear. Look, clarity is totally attainable. And if you are in an organization that is large, confusing, those matrix organizations that don't scale very well, that are over 10,000, 100,000, a million employees, how can you believe in this for 1 second that those organizations are functional? They're not. It's all on you. You have a responsibility to make it clear. You have a responsibility to make a team open-minded. You have a responsibility to make your whole department open to another department and kill all the silos and all this fragmentation that doesn't help anybody. And now, if the culture of the company that was established at its inception, dissipates because there was an acquisition, a merger, or a new leadership, if all those things dissipate, build your own culture and make it happen, make it work. You know, we don't take enough responsibility, and I think that's the key of combating the fear and the uncertainty is to be more certain about you and more clearly aware of who you are. That's self-awareness is everything. It's really the magic formula to feel happy, to feel fulfilled, to feel complete, and with this completion of yourself in the work environment, in the family environment, in all your personal aspect of life, makes you much more accomplished. And when you feel it at the end of the day, because you will, and when you wake up in the morning with the same feeling, well, you can embrace life and walk through life with a much stronger posture and and can combat every obstacles and challenges with much more confidence, making you the most powerful person in the world. You don't have to be the champion of boxing or wrestling or of baseball or basketball to perform. By sports, you can feel when you win, when you lose. Here, it's much more subtle, but at least it's about how you feel and how you build yourself up. This is why these few minutes together, I try to throw at you some ideas and make you feel much better that things can are be much more simple. That overthinking, that when you are feeling fear for your job, for yourself, it's because you feel you lack self-confidence. You are totally capable of working for another company tomorrow, another organization. You're totally capable of networking with people who know you and have been experiencing you in the past, who value you, and will probably lead you to another job or a new position if you are laid off or in a situation or a transitional situation. All of this is very true. You need courage and you need to show up, being loud if you have to be, assertive if you have to be, but totally sticking to your purpose and to your values and put the boundaries that nothing affects you, nothing is going to change you when things are clearly in your mind that you are going towards a goal that has been defined and that has been supported, acknowledged, and now clear in front of you. You don't need most of the time to raise your hand to ask permission, to get a resource, to recruit someone. I'm not saying you should do it without permission. I'm saying Most of the time, you might not need to have permission, but you are still waiting for that permission to come up or that green light and get very frustrated because the administration, because the heavy structure above you doesn't give it to you. But you didn't know that, in fact, you could really do it by yourself. You didn't have to go through this procedure. Stay compliant, comply with policies. But if they are against you, and especially if the organization is not facilitating what you need, be resourceful, be creative, feel safe with yourself, and create safety around you. Joy and boldness can coexist. You have to be and have the courage to make that fear disappear. And ask yourself, what's one place in your life where hiding is no longer serving you? That it's not a good idea to hide from the spotlight, to be or the radar screen, and think that you are going to find tranquility, that nobody's going to bother you because you feel that you can completely disappear and cancel yourself. Doesn't exist in any society, any place. You are meant to be with other people and meant to be that leader that you are, or that employee that you are, that husband, wife, whatever, partner, friend, father, mother, every aspect of your life. You are present for a reason. If you connect to that purpose, if you continue to think about this, that's the thing to focus on. I really think so. So you don't have to be fearless to lead. You just have to be willing to show up, be imperfect, be human and present. Don't fear AI. Don't think that artificial intelligence is going to replace your humanity, your human being that you are. It's not going to. It's not going to replace your creativity, your soul, your feelings. AI is there to be a tool, another one that is now the most recent one that came up in the world. It has a lot of power. It's good for surgery. It's good for science. It's good for uh, helping you with vocabulary to be your personal assistant. Yeah, but it's not there to replace what you do or to replace you as a person. It will never be able to. So you need to awake about that and see this reality and be ready and to take the next step. And not when you feel perfectly ready, but because you know you're worth being seen, you're worth being with, and you're worth being who you are with other people on this earth. So thank you for listening. Hopefully that was inspiring you, and you understand that I'm with you here as a coach to facilitate those things, to open up and understand that your potential is there to blossom and to be given out in the world. You cannot keep it for yourself. That would be very selfish and it would isolate you and make you miserable. So this is why I've said all of this, and I wish you an excellent weekend moving forward and seeing you next week and the week after. I am not sure it's going to be exactly at the time and days that are usual because it's a very kind of shaky time right now in my schedule, but I'll try my best. See you soon. Take care. It's recorded anyway, so you can always find it. Have the best of weekend you can have now, and relax. Bye.